Okay. So the name here is Jupiter, right? Comma, and that's the name of our planet. All right. In this case, I can print the name of the planet as a just a system out, right? System out dot print system out the print line name. Okay. So let's just run this. And oh, I never call animate, so let's say Earth. Actually use lowercase name. Animate. Okay. And then also Jupiter animate, and if we save everything and run it, so now we've got a couple of names printed here. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I have basically some reporting done, some constructor work done in place, and I have this class named planet. So it has some useful data attributes. It has constructor 1, constructor 2. One is the default constructor, another one is specific. Very interesting that it creates a very particular planet if I use the default constructor, which means that if I sort of like create an array of objects, like 100 objects, they all will be named Earth. Okay, so but that's just what the default constructor does. However, we do have a specific constructor which takes a whole bunch of parameters and instantly populates the object with that particular data. Quick demonstration on, if I say debug, start another debugging session, and if I stop here, and if I step over once, step over, right, and then debug step into, so that I want to step into this particular line, which is this line right here, then you can see that the local parameter distance from star, where I passed it as 173 divided by 33, is actually 5.24, right? Rounded sort of thing. So there's this particular object was was accepting particular data. So anyway, just so this is how useful the debugger really is. That it truly allows you to control and observe and think about what is truly taking place during the program execution. And very typically, in most cases, when I'm done looking, I wanted to look at this particular value just to make sure that, to find out what I'm really getting. But once I'm done answering my question about this particular issue that I was thinking about, I typically go to debug, and again, my habit is to go here, but what I really want to say is that I will just hit cancel, this X button, and say yes, I want to stop. The only time I would be reluctant to stop debugging session and actually let it finish by saying continue and run the entire program, if the program was interacting with the database. Sometimes you don't want to corrupt your database by executing half of the program and not the rest of the program, because maybe you could be right in the middle of making some updates to the database, and of course there you have to be careful with your data. Same kind of applies to you working with files, but typically you don't work with multiple files at a time, so sometimes it's easier with that respect. But when working with the database, I wouldn't recommend just hitting cancel process. You have to be really aware of what's going on. So anyway, just a kind of side note on that. But here's my new idea, and once we kind of go over that part, we'll take a break. So here's new idea. What if I wanted to introduce another class which is a special class of the planet, say gas giant or rocky planet or something else. So for example, since we have it someplace in the handout for today, how about going back to the package name and saying, how about we add another class? And we'll say planet. I'm not too shy to name my classes with the same prefix name so that they're sort of easily grouped together alphabetically when I look at my source files. So I'll say planet and then gas giant. Right? So not just gas giant, but planet gas giant. So just to add another class. So here it is, a same package. Notice that the package statement is inserted in every source file that I create in this manner, and so I have this gas giant. But this time, I already spent some work on the planet class, and I know that it does a lot of useful things, right? I just want somehow to disambiguate specific type of planet from other types. And in that respect, my thinking here is that this new class should do everything that the other one already can do, but expand its functionality. Or, in particular, in Java terms, there's a keyword for it, extend. Extends. Extends planet. Okay. Interesting. Then, to begin with, I am not in business of redefining everything. I'm just saying, how about for now, to begin with, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about this particular concept. I'm still thinking about what should the specific changes take place here. But how about this? If I use it right here in the type of the planet that I'm creating, right? So Jupiter is a gas giant planet. And I want to, by the way, update the other side as well. It's kind of curious that you need to keep it in line with the type of object that you're creating. So, but notice something that is makes the code no longer working. When I construct, let me make this a little adjustment for a second for the sake of demonstration. If I commented this whole thing out, instead, if I do this and use a default constructor, this should work. And of course, if I run it, so it says building, of course I'm creating two Earths. Well, interestingly, when I did something like this, where I said, I'm just going to extend the existing class, and I know I'm going to be defining something new for the gas giant, but I would like to inherit everything that comes available from the already existing planet class. And what happens is that, notice this, that when you create a new class, the default constructor is given to you automatically. The constructor is present. You can redefine it. You can change its behavior, but the default constructor is instantly. That's not a problem. If now I do this and go back to my array to create the gas giant with parameters, excuse me, then it will no longer compile because the rule focuses that the constructors from the planet class not automated. Now, again, my previous example demonstrates that all regular methods such as animate are inherited, but the constructors aren't. But I was able to do this right here, create on this test line. I was able to use the default constructor because brand new default constructor was given to the new class. But this constructor is not inherited. So how can I deal with this situation? It's a bit tedious. In fact, perhaps I want to support this particular constructor. What I would do, I would simply try to copy and paste. Try to copy and paste. This is the constructor, Control-C, copy, with these parameters, and paste it in here. And I'm saying it's tedious because, of course, now that I'm dealing with another class, which is extending the existing class, for reasons to be explained soon, I need to actually name my constructors properly. Planet such and such, and then here's another problem, and that's why again I say it's a little bit tedious, because look what was taking place in this class. Name, mass, and all other attributes were declared private. When you try to extend the class to inherit from this class and saying extend, the rules of encapsulation, which are guarded by private, public, and also protected, which we're not using today, but those access keywords, they still remain in place. So the answer is this. First of all, let's save this segment, and again, somehow I am not doing